All right, let's continue. So next up, I'm going to show you how to create like separations and stuff. So you now know how to array, but you don't quite know how to make an irregular system, and so it's really super mega simple. But in order to do that, I want to first increase the height of the building so that you can really get a sense of what it's going to take. So just grab everything up here. In case you missed that, in order to do that, I held Control Shift and just left to right selected everything at the top. And just yank it up about twice as high. Okay. So with something this high, you're probably going to consider having separations of structure. So the way that I'm going to define this is by taking the entire set of floor plates and copying that up. But I need to copy it up a factor of all of my floor plate elevations plus whatever they're called sky lobbies, whatever my sky lobby or gap is going to be between the two. So that's going to be a mathematical system that I have to create with this. So I'm going to, actually most of this I can borrow. So I'm going to take all three of these, copy paste. But the thing that I'm going to move is not the floor plates after they've been trimmed. That's very, very important. The floor plates before they're trimmed are the ones that I have to move. And in fact, that happens right here. That's these. So I need to copy that system and then reinsert the same system within it. Let me push that there. Actually, I'm trying to figure out how to organize this. I'll have to clean it up afterwards. But anyway, this is going to be in there, and I'm going to use these. Actually, I don't want copies of that. Sorry, let me go back. This one right here, we're going to use those numbers, so I don't need these new numbers. Okay, sorry about that. That was confusing. So these, I'll move up here because they're going to reorganize later. And I'm going to focus on this move instead. Okay, so think about it this way, right? The move that was here created all my floor plates, and then I just pushed it up top temporarily until I figure out what numbers I'm going to use. Then I'm going to reorganize it so it makes sense. So, so this move right here is going to be in the Z direction, and it's going to follow a sequence of these numbers. So I have 14 floors that are going 10 feet, so 10 times 14 is 140 feet. Let's put that in and see what we get. So I'm going to go to Math, Operators, Multiplication. I'm going to do 10 times 14, and then plug that into Z, and then look at it here. Okay, so that moved it up, but it's a regular floor height. If I just wanted a regular floor height, I would have just added another floor, right? You need a moment?
Yes.
Okay. Well, actually, I think what's going to make more sense is if I finish my thought and then I give you a minute to catch up, because this is a temporary situation. So anyway, I've moved my floor up to there, but I now need to move it up a little bit more in order to make sure that this is going to be an appropriate depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double the sky lobby height. So I'm going to take 10 times 4, and I'm going to add another 14, and then plug that in. So that makes it double the height. So here's what we do now. We have floors that we generated down here, and we have a floor that we created here. So this geometry is actually going to be a couple of geometries. We just need to go through the series again. Does that make any sense to you? So think of it this way, right? This move, it moved all of those pieces that far. I need to move this one the same way, so I reinsert this, and I think I can just add it in like that. Oh, no, I can't. Hang on. Wait, did that cut it off? No, it did. Let's see. Because it doesn't go through grafted, does it? No, no, no. It's. I see what's going on. This needs to be grafted into 2 sets. Okay. So here's my cleanup. Think of it this way. This was your old system at the top. This series was your old system, and that's the move that created the bottom package. All I did was reinsert, so yank that off to the side. I reinserted a new system here, a secondary system, for the same thing. So this series is the generator. This generates the logic for how each of my packages is going to be organized. And then I plugged that directly in, and that created my first package. And then this one creates the second package. Okay? This one's a little bit confusing. Yeah, no, they're supposed to be. Yeah, because if I didn't want that gap in between, then I would have just added more floors. I would have just changed the count and bumped it up to 20 instead of 10. But what I want is a sky lobby, right? Something that's, let me see if I can find an example of like a sky lobby. Well, I mean, this diagram that you saw before is an instance of where you would want to have a separation because you need to put something in there. Let's see.
So everyone's gap should be different?
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on what values you chose. I'm not really finding a great example of this, but maybe something like that. See how there's like a totally different system just injected into the center? Well, you'll have to do something like this in order to have a separate system. What does what do? Graft? Good question. Okay, so this right here, graft. The reason I had to graft this is because when I plugged both of these in, each one is a single surface that I'm trying to array 10 times. When I plug in 2 sets of a single surface into that, then it's going to read a list of 2 surfaces and then try to move them as a singular system. So what happened was, let me show you this, ungraph that. The first number in the series is 0. So it took the first surface and it left it right here. Does that make sense? So this list going in, that's 2 surfaces. Got that? Okay, so the first one, the first number in the series was 0, and it put it right there. The second surface started the next system, which is up there. So if you graphed it, it takes both of those surfaces like this, and they're both technically separate lists. So it takes the first list, and then it moves it this many times in that direction, which is the bottom surface. Then it takes the second list, and then applies it to all of those moves again. And it does the whole system to the second one. Is that clearer? It's, let me see if I can find a good graphic example. These are terrible graphic examples. Hang on, I'll just draw it on the board, but I'm going to cut it out of this video here. Yeah.